Vladimir. You are hearing me?
Can you hear me?
Perfect, perfect. Now the connection is great. I already mentioned.
Unfortunately, I was planning to talk on my computer, but I see now that we would talk oppositely. We would talk through our just to see here. Here's my topic. So I just want to be in a good shape that I don't miss anything when I was planning to talk.
Because you need to be perfect, maximalist every time.
We provide to our story. I got a little cold. I hope it's only that, but since I'm not getting out too much, I guess this is a cold. Congratulations on your win. I'm sure that you developed it big time, the Hungarian basketball, and as time goes on, I'm very positive that in a soon future you would even make bigger changes with the teams you are working. And thank you for calling me. I'm right now free. And definitely, since we did send some fitness things, how to do in which manner, I would definitely suggest that we move a little bit now to the ball workouts, because these ball workouts we can do always. We can do in the season with a limited, restricted hours, repetitions, numbers, and we can do that pre-season, post-season, and keep our body in a great shape. So I'm very much happy that I have opportunity to still work with you and to continue. And go ahead, ask me whatever you like. I am your guest today.
And soon we are maybe working together in one club. So I would love
inshallah. Arabs would like to say inshallah, which means in the help of the God.
I already mentioned that we will speak about this topic, and I mentioned that now is playing playoffs after he started the preparation period. So I would love that when you are saying everything, I would love to say what is your suggestion, maybe in the competition time, in the preparation time, when we are finishing the league, and after what we are doing in the next 1 month or 2 months. And let's start, for example, because I mentioned for our viewers that a great senior player can't be without extra individual work. And I mentioned that we will speak about Kicanovic, Magic Johnson, Larry Bird, Dražen Petrovic, who worked a lot. And I would love to hear from you what is your suggestions for this individual extra workout, especially with the ball? So there is a story, for example, with Dražen Petrovic, that Dražen Petrovic when played for Real Madrid, and he's arriving to Athens to play against Olympiacos. He's entering in the hotel, and first question was at the receptionist that where is the fitness gym? So we must to be fanatics that we want to work on ourselves. So let's talk now about these big players. Let to be this the beginning.
This is funny, but as good student would always come to ask professor for the extra question. Some students just to show that they're interested to pass the exam, but some students have questions, which means they devote themselves for the future to be experts in that areas. Also basketball players, as we know, two the best one, Irvin Magic Johnson, like the second one, and the first one, Larry Bird, because Larry Bird worked more than him, but Magic Johnson probably was better point guard, he was better organizer of the game, and Larry Bird was better scorer, because he was more practicing to score. Magic was more playing for the others and for himself as well. So those two invented that personal individual workout where basically you don't need like a coach to push them. They go by themselves. Dražen was a guy who was, for example, when he sadly died in a car accident, he is the biggest, beside his family, condolence people who were in a sadness, who couldn't understand that he is gone, where beside his family, people maintains guy, janitor guys in that arena where New Jersey Nets are practicing, because he was always over there. He was sharing his playing, his time over there, his practicing time with those people who were cleaning, who were doing the ordinary work for the help maintenance people for the basketball facility, but they remember him like a guy who never go out of court. I was not lucky to watch Dražen, even if he was working in that 20th October elementary school in New Belgrade. He was in the army in Zemun, so he was working there. Individually, he was shooting and this and that, but Dražen was a special story, and he was a loner, but in a city called Čačak in Serbia, as much was Zadar in Croatia, they built their shooting guards, and unfortunately we don't have them. Unfortunately, we don't have them anymore. But coach of that Čačak players, I sent you his photo. Železničar, it's a second team in Čačak. Borac is the first. But Železničar won the Yugoslavians, former Yugoslavia junior championship. And the guy who was winning was professor of physical education, Aleksandar Aca Janic. And many players worked with him. Was it Bade Prelević, coach Aleksandar Teferić, many. But certainly Boban Janković was a guy who was also, by roots he is from same city, but he was in Belgrade. And his coach, Aca, every summer, that guy was in a conflict with the club. He left the club. He didn't practice with them, but he was practicing with his professor of physical education in a gym. And I was watching him. I was a young coach, and I was impressed how he was coming and doing 4 or 5 drills. At that time, I found out there's only 3-point shot in the basketball. There's a 4-point shot, because he was shooting from the 10-meter distance, 12-meter distance, from the center line, and he was scoring. So, as we know, when we talk about drills, you know, every medicine doesn't heal the people, but if doctor and patient make that kind of connection, doesn't matter, that medicine would heal the people. And you just have to believe in that what doctor gave you like prescription. So they were doing 4 or 5 drills, but those 4 or 5 drills were something the best I've seen. How you have a chemistry because between the teacher and between the player. And funny thing is, as we know in our lives, much more important is the feeling quality than how to say intelligence quality. Because feeling quality, really, it's your feeling about something. You know better than anybody else. Are you healthy, or are you injured, or are you sick? You know basically better than anybody else. How do you feel? Your body tells you that. Your heart, your soul tells you that. That's metaphysics. So same is with the basketball drills. You know better, like basketball player, than anybody else, which drill make you be suitable and make you feel good. And you know better than anybody else which drill is not good for you. And therefore, I always say, when you have a good devoted players, you have to see what is suitable to them so they can, on a court, in a game time, show the difference. In my opinion, whenever we get to the court, we should stretch, and we should use dynamic stretch. And I gave 2 dynamic stretch drills because there's no any question. If your body sleeps, if your muscles are not stretchable as much as we want, injury or no good practice is around the corners. So you better avoid that. Do good dynamic stretch. And I sent you 2 parts. Alan Stein is the most beautiful, like always. He is giving to us those kind of things. And beside that, we have to bring some soft towel or something for your knees to do these glute activation exercises. We have 10, which would activate your gluteus, but besides glute, that would activate your muscles and your body. You know, sometimes you can get in a gym only at 8 a.m. 8 a.m., you're wake up, but your body still sleeps. Especially young people, they like to sleep a little longer. Us older people, we wake up at 7:30, 8 o'clock, because, you know, we're getting old and we are through with a long sleeping. But young people, they just love to sleep. And for young men to get on a court and not warm up his muscles, his bones, his full body, brings him to be not stretched, and he is not stretchable for the practice, then we have many disadvantages after that. So I would do those 3 no ball workouts to make players in a good stretching statement, so they can move later on to the ball workouts, the ball exercises especially. And now it's all question how many players we have. If you have only 1 player or 2 guys, and for example, you're sending them exercise, they can do this very well. They can do this very well without you. They just need a hoop. They need the nets. It's well proved. It's not saying when you don't have a nets or you have a bad nets or when you have a good, suitable nets around the rim. And players have to have a good game shape board and a hoop and a rim, so they can, after that, have a good shooting. You will see many good shooters. They always question the rim. They always question those silly things, how nets is good, because that's their life. They're like those sniper shooters. They don't want to miss. They want to hit. So if I would go with anything, now if you have, for example, 1 hoop, for me, more than 4 players is too much. But if you have, especially if you do outside shot, or if you do some shooting technique. Now, what I would always prefer to be done, I would always go to the, for example, 8 players can do ball workouts, 8 players can do fitness with another coach. Then after that, you rotate. So that's 16. I don't think that we should have that day more than 16 people for 2.5 hours or 3 hours to work out on a court. 1.5 hours, if you have organized time, is enough to have better every day 1.5 hours shooting. Then some days to have 3 hours, and after that the break, 2-3 days, better every day, unless you have a game. And sometimes good players even shoot before the game, not in the morning. They come on the court and they check both hoops, both rims, both nets. They try to be scoreable. That's the story about players. So if I would be asked, I would go first with that 6-minute shooting routine, which we have on our YouTube videos, which means, let's say that we have 2 pairs, 1 hoop, 2 pairs another, or even less. They can shoot 6 minutes, which means 1 minute. And if they don't have a time, I think that every 4 minutes you can shoot. So there are drills how you get on a court, how you hit the side of the board, how you shoot over the outside board to try to put the ball into the hoop, and how you do many other things with a nice touch, holding the ball on your fingers, not holding the ball here, how you rotate and elevate the shot. And I give later on Steph Curry workout, his shooting technique, because as I say, we can give to players anything, but they more believe to Steph Curry or Michael Jordan, rest in peace Kobe Bryant, or this guy LeBron James, they believe to us because those people score, not you and me. So what I would do, I would give them 6 minutes, 1 minute, one guy is shooting or 15 shots, one guy has 50 shots, another, and simply at the end of that warm-up, they would have 1 minute to shoot, to count how many swishes they score out of free throw line. So they already work on their shooting stroke and their nice performance of their ball spin and how ball softly to get in the hoop, in the rim, out of touching anything but nets. After that, I would give them that famous Tulsa women's basketball individual drills, which are very good, not only for the perimeter players, but for the inside guys. Catch, dribbling, pass. That gives them extra coordinations. They gives them extra mental thinking how to handle the ball. So in the game, when they get the ball, they don't fumble. You remember, if you watch NFL, American football, professional plays, you see many quick tackles who run fast, but they fumble the ball. So God can give you athleticism if he doesn't give you good hands that you cannot catch. So those big guys and those guards have to have a good catch, good touch, and good ball handling skills. After those two drills, certainly we have several choices. I would, without any hesitation, try to score layups with my players. We
And
know.
if you're talking about shooting, now I would love to ask from you that to say for our followers, what is your experience? How many hours should need to work daily one player on himself if he's a senior player and the club has a court, a fitness gym, how much he has? And if we talked about shooting, what is your opinion? How many times should need to shoot on the hoop from different situation, one senior player? Because let's say, for example, when Lovren and Bertans played in Partizan, they asked, how is the system with Vujošević for you? Because you are coming from a different system and everything. And they said, it is a little strange, but we used for it that coming the assistant coach, and from one set, we are running out, we are receiving the ball, and we need to stay on the individual training until we are scoring 500 3-pointers. And sometimes they stayed 4 or 5 hours daily just to do this beside the team training. So that would be my question. What is for you a normal, the daily, every senior player, how many attempts, how many shoots he should need to do, or a 3-pointer or from set? So this would be my questions for you.
I was having the game when I was coaching Georgia, former Soviet Union, Zaza Pachulia country, and I remember one Ukrainian guy, Ilya, he was shooting, I think he shoot 100 or 150 shots before the game. And American player, his name is Spencer, he said to him, save something for the game. In my opinion, as games are far from the practice, you should do much more.
Yes,
as we're getting close, because you see, we can talk today, of course, if you and me, if you speak English every day, more than 6 or 8 hours, you would speak English like somebody who live in Great Britain or in United States or Australia. I would speak Hungarian if I would every day talk 8 hours. But the problem is, what with another 16 hours would be? Where I gonna go to make money? How I gonna take a rest? Other things I have to do. So the problem is with the over workouts that some players have a genetic code. They can survive. Some players don't last long. For example, Nash, our head coach, Alexander Georgievich, former head coach of the national team, and now coach in Bologna, likes to say that Bogdan Bogdanovic, if he doesn't shoot 400 shots before the game, he is not having good day. So there are people who wants to shoot, there are people who cannot do that. I'm always a lover of the philosophy that players should every day, hour and a half at least, stay and do certain drills which would help him be good. Then he should have his own practice. Now, if in the morning they have a 2 hours of practice, he can stay another 30 minutes, maybe hour, but I'm not big fan to repeat that 24/7, 12 months, because there is a reasonable fear that those kind of people sooner or later get in severe injuries. So we all know how Coach Vujovic did a great job in the basketball, and we all admire him. But in my opinion, I think that I believe in what his fitness coach, legendary Professor Koprivic of Vladimir, says. Better every day, a little number of repetitions, but do it for, he's talking about not ball workout, he's talking about fitness things. That would keep your body in shape. That would not ruin your conditioning, and that would not ruin your game. As we know, there is a game shape, and there is a athletic field shape. We don't need somebody who will score 33-point shots in some friendly game, screaming in some street ball at the end of the season when everything is over. We need somebody who would help us go as far as we can go in the season. So we have some important games. We have the best shooters and scorers to be the best at that time. We have also, if you're coaching the lower level, some teams and players who have to produce every game for us, or we are going to get fired. Simply, we are foreigners in many countries where you and me were working. And over there, they have a no smarter thing to do with us but to fire us if we don't perform. So, for my point of the stand, I would always go like this. I would go, first of all, that every day when is a season, we have to have competition, which means we have to compete, and I have some drills. I sent what Steph Curry is doing. Now, that doesn't mean that every Steph Curry or every Dula Vujovic drill is suitable to you or to me. But we have to offer like those salesmen to our players and to see what makes them be better. What makes them be extraordinarily good in that level we are playing, or that plays them to the next level. That's how we succeed. So the most important thing, in my opinion, first, that they learn to score layups. Even if they're perimeter, they have, you know, me and you, we love basketball. And we are sometimes, there's some coaches who are recruiting cycles. They would bring the worst attitude guy by thinking he would, under them, become great one and listenable and coachable. Usually, it's not the truth. Many times, one player pass another 3-4 guys, and he is not good with anyone. But that's another story. We also have coaches who are play cycles. They see some play, some team is playing, and he wants to do same play, same action, same offense with his team. But let's say when we have a one UCLA cut, where player from the top goes down, if he's not capable to score, he's not going to get a pass. If he doesn't get a pass, defense will not take him seriously. Then any pick is coming to him, any other counter, that offense is not good. It's vulnerable because players don't know to score inside. So we need first to teach inside players and outside players to score layups. Layups with the back to the hoop moves, layups with the face to the hoop moves. Every practice we have to do those drills. And also, I took Kyrie Irving Mikan drill. He has 12 varieties. and he's doing all that. So we have kind of things to do in order to really teach our players to do the things, to score and honor the position when they get near to the hoop. Then we have to do those shooting dribbling drills where you have to shoot. And now I have for you exclusive secrecy. Now is anniversary, I think 30 years how, or I would say not 30, maybe 29 years, how Sasha Djordjevic scored that three-point shot against the
1992, yes.
1992. I was watching in America. My player, George Palfi, he is a great guy. He is now in the States. He was telling me that professor was on every practice getting after the Željko Obradović, why he's teaching them so much set-up shot to shoot. He says, Željko, stop that. Give them shot of the dribbling. And everybody was confused. They say, professor, but sometimes in the game you are alone. He says, if he can score of the dribbling after the pressure, he can score when he is alone. So professor was, our first Hall of Famer out of the United States was insisting, shot of the dribbling. Dribble, make the jump step, pull the jumper. With all those jab steps, hasties, other things, but you have to shoot of the dribbling. So I'm also, beside those moves, I would always give them this. Now, sometimes we can really, like shooting technique, which, you know, sometimes you can do in a time of the season. If player has familiar shooting technique, but if he doesn't have, it's crazy to teach him to do that in the time of the season because you can ruin his shot. Steph Curry, again, he is one of the best scorers ever. He has that 5 shooting drills. He's doing copy-paste. Players like to do that. If that makes them happy, do it. That would help. Also, I would like always to give his challenge with on his camp with the high school students. He is giving them the shooting challenge, and he always, they say he destroys them. But that competition drill you can give to your perimeter players, even to your stretching fours and some guards. You have to give them the drills they can see NBA stud is doing, because they're not going to go with us. They're not feeling suitable with you and me as they feel with the NBA players. That's another story. I also would, doesn't matter am I doing with the big man or with the small guys, I would do those post moves. There's a post move for the big man. And there are many moves. And really, for big man, you know, it's so simple. You just have technically to do correct, and everything what is underneath in the paint area, it's much easier to do, because when you miss, ball doesn't bounce 100 meters far from the place you're practicing. Ball is near your hands. But, you know, I gave one drill for the big man where really they do in a proper way. Then I would give them the drill immediately, 4 quick post moves against the bigger or slower defender. Why? Because that's good for the big man, but also perimeter players sometimes can, after the switch, get in position against the big man, and their big man would get outside. Why don't we immediately let good small forward, especially them, or even shooting guard, or some point guards can score easily, so we can every practice this drill. Then I also have top 5 post moves, which they don't have to do, but I also have 5 power post moves against smaller or weaker defender. Why? Sometimes you have not tall people. For example, Dejan Milojevic, Batista, Kyle Hans, those are people who are not that tall. But also, we have sometimes people such as Vasilij Micic, who is 1 meter 97 centimeters. Bogdan 198. Milos Teodosic 196, 197. We have the guy who, of course, Milos Teodosic is magic with the ball. But sometimes when you have to win the game, that's not so bad that he can have some inside move. We saw how Milos was scoring one game, you know, when he was into the paint, how he squared the ball around the guy and shoot over him, and guy didn't know where ball is. So, you know, we have to have those kind of the moves. I would also involve a basketball move series from the high post position. There are many low post drop steps, fadeaway shots, power shots, reverse shots, shots where you see all those varieties, you think, how my big man cannot score. But very few drills are for the high post. And high post is also a very important place, especially for those people who are having not good five inside. We just don't have sometimes great inside scorer because of his height, because of level he plays. So that's not bad to give them. But when we talk about the big people, we have to remember this. Big people need to score with the contact. Player who is intimidated from the contact is a player who really doesn't play modern basketball. He can't be useful into the paint. And don't remember, you're not only into the paint to score, you're into the paint to get on the free throw line, that they foul you. So they have to go on the bench. So you have a shot, etc., on the free throw line.
Yeah.
So those things I would...
That post players need to score from a contact. That I am missing openly from NBA, because I see there a lot of fadeaway shots and they are jumping back, and I don't know. So we should need, this is very important what you said, that they should need to score from the contact.
Contact is the mother of all solutions in the game of basketball. Basketball is a contact game. That separates basketball from the volleyball. In volleyball, you jump, you're fast, you're quick, but you look maybe better than a basketball player, but you're not suitable, you don't have a contact. That's the difference. I would give them some, again, Steph Curry, that's my favorite at this moment, because his height is more suitable for the level you and me are coaching than those who are playing with, as I mentioned, much taller guards. So the guy has three unguardable moves for defense, but you can do that more in the summer. Then you can do some also in another time. You will see some top 5 handle drills, which can be used for the beginning of the practice. You can combine that Tulsa women workout and this. Then you have 7 explosive basketball moves to break ankles with a changing of the speed. We can do all those things in our practice with our perimeter. Also, at the same time, we can do some inside moves with our post. So I left here about 24 drills, and I think that 10 to 12 drills each group of people can do, and at the end of the practice you can give them competition. Players love to compete against each other.
That is important.
That's important, yes.
There are top training.
Oh yeah,
that is very
especially
important.
In a season, you know, you need it. You need it. Then I would give them those top 7 basketball shooting drills, where you have some shooting technique, but also some drills which help you. Then really, I have 2 drills I love the most. The name of the guys is Dennis Staton. And he was playing everywhere in a middle and small level of basketball. Dennis is the guy who was playing in, many middle level basketball. He was he is 1 meter 91 centimeter. He is he was playing in Austria, for example. So no high level or big level basketball, or in Germany a little bit. But his drills he is doing are so beautiful. And the most important, he has 6 offensive moves. Every basketball players have to score. And he has also how to score of the dribbling another 6 moves. So because, you know, even we give them LeBron James, Steph Curry exercises, sooner or later player know that they cannot reach the club, unfortunately. Like many coaches, don't go far away in a level of basketball to coach EuroLeague or to coach NBA. It's very few people have a chance to do it. But we're in this business because we love basketball, not because basketball has to love us. So therefore, in my opinion, this guy, Danny Staton, is a better to be a role model, because sooner or later players see that guy is not extraordinarily fast. He is a just guy who is mediocre athletically. But he is a top scorer. When he shoots, that ball goes in. Therefore, I think that we have to think about that exercise. He is, I think, about 30 years. Now he's getting older. He's a 39 years old guy, but he was 3, 4, 5 years ago great scorer because every day he was repeating this exercise. You were asking me 500 shots, 1,000 shots, 1,000 make. I agree with that. If you can do it, do it. But I think sometimes you have to be specialist. If setup shot is your shot, you have to keep that routine. If all the dribbling shot is your shot, keep it also that way. Also, Rick Pitino is teaching us, in a time of season, you better practice free throws. Why? If you practice free throws, you still keep your shooting stroke in a good shape. But if you do more outside shots and you don't do free throws, you can reduce percentage, then you lose the games, as you know. If you know that my player is a poor shooter on the free throw line, you will foul him always. That's a chance for you to catch the game. So I like that, and of course I would always put this shooting drill, 30-point drill, where you have 1 3-point shot, 2 2-point shots, 3-point shot makes 3, 2-point shots make 2. So from the 1 position, there are 5 spots, you can make 7. So you have 5 spots, that makes 35, but you have to make extra 2 free throws back to back. If you miss 2 free throws, you are not qualified, you have to go again. So usually up to 30, you have a hard time. Many times players score 27, 28, then they miss the free throws. You give them get out when they have 30 with the 2 back-to-back free throws. It can take a good 5, 6 rounds of repetitions, which again, for 5 spots, that's a 15 shots, plus 2 free throws, that's a 17 shots. You know what? If you go 5 times, that's about 85. With the other drills, you go to the 300 or 400 shots per the practice. You cannot avoid that. At the end of the practice, I always like that drill, free throw drill, which called nets drill. You have to score with nets. You shoot, you miss, it's +1. You shoot, you make, it's a same number if you didn't make only swish. You make swish, it's a -1. You start from the 5, you have to go to the 0. You have several sets like that. Then you elevate to 7, to 10, up to 20. Let's see who is going to make a 0 with the swishes. It's not easy. But why swishes? Not because we're trying now to innovate some hot water and to be much smarter than other coaches. We saw that from NBA. Why? You know, the best shooters on the free throw line can, in a game time, miss. I am not that smart as people maybe think I try to pretend. But I knew that Nikola Jokic would be the best player, not when he was doing those fancy passes for Dan Milojevic in Mega, in other places, when against Croatia in Olympic Games in Rio de Janeiro, he had back-to-back 4 free throw shots. And with Croatians, we were going like this. We lost Milos Teodosic. Stefan Markovic had the 4 fouls. If we would go to overtime, we would lose. But he was the guy who scored 4 out of 4. I'm not going to mention other names. Follow our players in EuroLeague. Now, Vasilije Micic, I was having genuine opportunity to work with him. I know his parents. I knew his, rest in peace, mother, great lady, and all those, his sister, everything. But he is now in the best shape, and I am so impressed about his performance. But I'm still wondering, can he, when it's the major time, back-to-back have 3, 4, 5 free throws that he doesn't miss? Nikola has the head for that. And we have to teach our players. You know, many times ball goes in, then when it hits the rams, get out. But if you practice swishes at the end of the game, that would be basket in a game time, and you would help us win. I would just finish this talk with the following thing. I would give them a Steve Nash workout. Maybe you saw that, maybe you didn't. That's a 20 minutes of shooting workout with Steve Nash. Steve Nash has a beautiful quote. He says, if everybody would work hard like me, there would be no job for me, because he is not that beautiful athlete, he is not that tall, he is not that strong, but he practiced much more, and that's the answer on your question. You cannot, if I force you to shoot 500 shots, you would get an injury. But if you force me to stay and pass 500 or 1,000 shots, I may get an injury, but you would become an NBA player. So I would like that at the end, this is the gift. See how he is managing his shooting. That's for me the best thing I could see today. And I think that this kind of exercises would help players on a daily basis, 4 times at least per week, up to the even 6 times practice. This gives them fair chance to make, with the layups, 500 shots each day. That's how I would do, and I would much more pay attention about free throws for the point guard, for the big man in a season, and of course of the season I would more do different shots, including the free throws. That would be my advisement, and I am ready if you have any question to answer right now.
Yes, we didn't talk about at the post players about, let's say, for example, jump hooks, hook shots, what that are not doing a lot of players. If we are talking about hook shot, we must to mention Karim Abdul-Jabbar, and how I am listening the EuroLeague head coaches board, coaches academy. One of the professors said for us that Karim Abdul-Jabbar, when played for NCAA, there was a period that dunk was banned, and because of it, he started to practice his sky hook. And because the dunk was banned in some period, he became a master of it. And that is the same what we are saying, like contact is important with the post players. And now they are pushing a lot this fadeaway and step back shot that without contact to score. I am missing too the jump hook and the hook shots. And how you mentioned, when I am coaching a senior team, I am preparing my guards too, that if they are tall, they can receive the ball like a low post player, and to finish maybe with a jump hook. because they are able to do if they are 2 meters or 195 or I don't know 192. So what is your experience and about your opinion? Because we not see today a lot of hook shots and jump hook, for example, especially on the high level like NBA or EuroLeague.
You remember when I was a young coach, we were teaching our players to do running hook, like Karim Abdul-Jabbar. He would go, and
Yes.
from the right to left, he would shoot the right hook, or from the left to right, he would shoot the hook shot from the 1 foot. Then, because game became more with the contact, they stopped that. They teach players to make jump stop. Then they have varieties, Hakim Olajuwon, the up and under, those reverse hook shots, but those power jump stops and vertical with both feet shots. Well, what happened, we found out that lately they came back on the running hook shots. Was that Paul Gasol? Was that Divac before? We are talking Karim Abdul, you also know Karim Abdul-Jabbar is now 50 years ago, 40 years ago, 30 years ago. We cannot now go back to that time. But after that long time was a period when people avoid that running hook shot. Maybe that was more shot for the women. But again, starts with us in our league, Boban Marjanovic. Bobby was excellent defender. That tall guy like Slavko Dranic, like Kuzmic, they changed the shot of the people. You go to shoot over him, he block your shot, then you know, you don't go next time. What happened? Žalgiris people found out from Žalgiris, from Lithuanian club, or Lietuvos Rytas, I forgot. They found out that when Bobby is here in this area, if you go with a jump stop, he would block the shot. But they found out when you go, I would say, handball move with 2 steps, running shot, he doesn't block. They shoot over him and they score. Did they realize that kind of way of attacking? By practicing against him, by observing and scouting his playing time, or they were watching some other guys, seeing their problems in a game, then they did same with him, and it was successful. But that Lithuanian team score against Bobby, and of course, coaches, when they find out what's secrecy, they don't like too much to share. They kept that for themselves. Now, see, Bobby in the United States, since he is in the NBA and he is taking care, I can say that people sometimes should not be prejudiced. They should go in the running frame of the hook shot, and maybe they would easier score against the taller guy than if they would go by the jump stop in a hoop area, and after that getting up with all those variety of the drills. I would finish when you talk about that. Also, when we talk about individual statistics and scouting, we forgot that, for example, Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali was losing against Joe Frazier. Joe Frazier was losing against George Foreman. George Foreman was losing against Muhammad Ali. So when you have the best players, sometimes the best players are not suitable to each other. Spanoulis is not good against some other people, but Kalatsis is suitable to him because of the height. Many times, short guy play better against tall people because all his life play against tall people. But when he plays against the shorter guys, he is making mistakes. And many times I see that by my eyes when I'm coaching the team. I ask my player, are you Okay, are you confident with this guy? Do you need me to put you on somebody? No, let me play against him. That guy steals 2 or 3 times ball out of him. There are any problem. You are the problem like a coach. So what I try to say, we have to do variety of the things. Dejan Milojevic was the best one. But against Dula Savanovic, I think he didn't, because they play familiar style with the height and everything. So then it was much easier to play against the bigger guys than against him. In that name, I would more be thinking about the running hook, that we should also teach players both ways, with both feet on the floor, with the 1 foot in the air. So it depends against who do you play. It may devoted player make a be more perfect and more genuine than others who are one frame of the mind.
No, I think that we get a lot of details, and I think this conversation was again great. And I think that we will continue these online clinic conversations, because I guess that a lot of suggestions you can give for us, and what kind of impact you made in a lot of countries. That experience you are always able to share with the coaches and with the players. So I would love to thank you for your time, and I would love to wish you great health, and we will continue this great project for sure.
Thank you so much. The biggest problem is you, how to get connected. I'm very much technologically behind your younger generation, and I have a hard time to get in contact on the live videos. So thanks again, and wish you all the best to you and your family and to your players, and keep winning another game.